Great. So I'm joined with Hayden Bird, another one of our Kingstonian summer video Zoom type things. Hayden, how are you? You well?
Very well, thanks, Jay. Looking forward to coming back to pre-season. Now we've got some clarity on the start and yeah, ready to go.
Yeah, so a few things to talk about today. We've got two new signings who are going to join us and a third to speak about that we'll share in a bit. We've got a new sponsor, which feels like a good start to the commercial campaign that you launched. And then we can talk a little bit about pre-season practicalities as well. So actually, let's leave the players for now because they're going to join us. What's the plan for the next 6 weeks, 2 months or so as we run up to the new season? How's pre-season going to work? What's going to happen with Fabio? Is that he's in Spain, he's going to be quarantined for a month when he comes back? All those questions. How's pre-season shaping up?
Yeah, as you say, you have to consider all of those things because it's slightly different. So we have to follow the government guidelines. There's a lot of clubs that have come back already who have been working in smaller groups. I didn't feel the necessity for that for one of two reasons. First of all, we worked very hard in Zoom throughout the month of May, I think it was. So I wanted to give the players a little time out. Secondly, I think when you train, you have to train with purpose. And I think it's very difficult to train with a purpose if you don't know actually when you're starting the season. So I wanted the players to come back when we could train collectively together, knowing when the start of the season is. So we had various proposals, various plans of action in place. So now we know the season is going to start on September the 19th. We can come back with confidence on Saturday. Through the government guidelines, we can train normally on Saturday, but obviously there are certain restrictions that we have to be aware of. For example, we won't be using dressing rooms initially. We'll be making sure that everything is sanitized, etc., etc. So there'll be certain precautions that will take place. The slightly difficult part of pre-season is with the friendlies. First of all, the plans for the friendlies have changed 2 or 3 times already because different competitions are starting on different dates. So we plan to have Dorking Wanderers in pre-season. The plan was for Sutton United to be in pre-season as examples. But now that competition isn't starting until the 3rd of October. So that's made it a little bit more difficult. So we're still in the process of finalising 1 of 2 dates even today and waiting for some clubs to confirm a few things. It's not ideal because normally I would know that, but it's nothing that we can't overcome. But yeah, we're as a group, we're very excited about coming back to work. We're very focused on doing very well this season, and we're all ready to start on Saturday. As you rightly say, the exception to the rule is Fabio. Fabio went out to Madrid to celebrate his 27th birthday at the weekend. He's actually back today, and as a result of a 4-day break, he now has to quarantine for 2 weeks. So unfortunately, we'll miss Fabio. But if there's one person that I'm not too concerned about missing, it is Fabio, because he will still come back the fittest person at the club. So him missing in the fitness and conditioning side of it isn't too much of a drama.
You mentioned pre-season friendlies and dates not being confirmed. I guess that's less of an issue for fans in that we know that there will be no fans at pre-season this year. I imagine that's less of a blow for you than it is for everyone else.
Well, it'd be great to see the fans again, first of all, and we're disappointed because I think that everybody would agree in Kingstonian that our progress is collective. A big responsibility last season and a big assurance that I gave the supporters last season is that we would give the Terraces a team to relate to. And the players achieved that. And I think everybody was proud of the players for achieving that. Unfortunately, we're going to have to start the work without the supporters. But I've already spoken to the football club, and we want the supporters to be part of our pre-season. So, you know, I think as you know from our conversations, we want to have a media team that can even go as far as to filming the pre-season friendlies and pre-match, post-match interviews, just so they can't be with us, but we'll make them a part of pre-season and everybody's fully informed about what's going on.
Is your expectation that come September 19th, fans will be allowed back in for the first league game and then it's obviously straight into the FA Cup from there as well?
I have it on pretty good authority in the FA, Jamie, that the season won't start unless fans are in the ground.
Okay.
So I think my understanding is that August will be a month of government testing. I think already we're seeing that. I think in county cricket, you've seen crowds return. On Saturday at Goodwood, I think there'll be as many as 5,000 supporters in the stadium. I believe that there'll be various snooker competitions that will have supporters in-house in August. And providing all of that goes well, in September, the crowds will return. I think the reason why the FA have gone to a staggered start is that it may be the start of September, the Combined Counties and Sussex League returns because the crowds are naturally smaller. September the 19th, you'll see Steps 3 and Steps 4 return because the crowd becomes that much bigger, but not as big as the National League. And in October the 3rd, the National League will return, where obviously you get the bigger gates. So I'm hoping that actually our supporters will return to the stadium in September before the league campaign starts. But I can say with assurance that we'll see everybody, even if it's 20-30% of capacity. That would still allow 400 to 500 people in the stadium for the first day of the season.
Just before we move on to kind of playing staff update, a word on the new sponsors. You obviously you worked really hard over the summer on the kind of commercial side. How pleased are you for that first public deal to come through the doors? Really pleased.
Not something that I can take any credit for. I have to say, something that George has worked really hard on. There were various companies that were interested, but the club felt that this was the right deal. And we're delighted to welcome Surrey Hire to Kingstonian. Hopefully the relationship will be a long-term relationship, and it's the start of a really good, strong partnership for the club and Surrey. Whilst I'm welcoming the new shirt sponsors, I'd also like to thank everybody that has already embraced the 12th man scheme and other companies that are looking to work with Kingstonian next season. So that project is very much ongoing. That project is gathering pace. And commercially, we've made a really good start to the new venture. And George particularly deserves immense credit for that. So hopefully we'll see some further announcements soon.
Great. We've got 3 new incomings we're going to talk about today, but a word on the wider squad. Reece Hall announced on social media over the weekend that he's leaving. I guess, do you want to say anything about his departure? Obviously a key player for us last season. And whether there's anyone else who, I know at the kind of fans forum back a few weeks ago, we talked about a list of retained players, whether there's any update on anyone else kind of staying or leaving.
Yeah, I can give you the list of players that will be reporting into pre-season. That's no problem. But to start with Reece, I was informed of Reece's statement, albeit not so much details, but that Reece had made a statement on social media. There's not a great deal that I can add to that, other than to be clear with the supporters and say, I didn't want Reece to leave. The club didn't want Reece to leave. And Reece didn't want to leave. I spoke to Reece very early in the lockdown and said that I actually wanted to elevate his position in the football club, and I wanted him to be a key player in the football club. Reece was very much on board for that, and actually did a lot of really good things behind the scenes, including, you know, encouraging players to come to Kingstonian and to speak very highly of Kingstonian. But, you know, sometimes in football, as much as you want things to work out, things don't work out. Dan Bennett is the same. Dan Bennett was great for the club last year. He had a tremendous season. But sometimes you just can't agree. You can't agree on the finer details of the personal terms. Sometimes it may be that players can earn more elsewhere. I'm not suggesting these people play for the money. I want to be clear and say that they don't. But they have families to look after. They have circumstances which demand that they need to take home a certain amount of money. We made him a good offer. Unfortunately, we couldn't quite agree terms. And so we wish him well. No one will ever hear me speak badly of Reece. Reece is a good guy. He's worked with me in Merstham. He's worked with me here. He's someone that I've really enjoyed coaching. Fantastic attitude, great character, great right foot, and was a big part in Kingstonian and setting the project going. So I'm sorry that he's not with us next season, but I wish him tremendous success. And what everybody must remember is that we would want to keep everybody. But this is normal. This is absolutely normal in pre-season. The club supported me with the budget by, in very, very difficult times, giving me the same budget. But in that same budget, I have to improve the team. So it's common knowledge that I wanted to bring a centre forward into the football club. I needed to improve the left-hand side as well. I can't improve the squad if I can't generate the money internally. So there was naturally going to be a few ins and outs. Everybody that's left, we wish them great success, whether that's Reece, whether that's Dan Bennett, whether that's young Jerry, because he wants to play regular football, and I can't promise him that. Everybody leaves with our best wishes. But I say with confidence, the squad will be considerably stronger next season. And I think that our aspirations will move up a level. With regard to your question, I'll quickly refer to my phone and give you a very quick retained list. And so the retained list will include Cooper, Harrison, Hector, Desane, Saraiva, So, Osborne, Beanie, Perch, Whitnell, Cook, Lawson, Bull, Tolfrey, Oganteo, Kavanagh, and Tutu Enriquez. And just to add to that, Andre Coker is still furloughed with Bromley, and conversations with Andre will commence once that furlough is complete.
Great. Let's get on to the three new names. Let's talk about the one who isn't here tonight first. Why don't you tell us about Tom Howard?
Yeah, Tom Howard signs for Kingstonian as a player that I really like. He has not only the personality, but he has the natural attributes to play a very important role this season. Tom is a player that I've known for a long time. He's a midfield player with great technical ability. He also has a great engine. He can play on the right-hand side. He can play as the 8. He can play as the 10. He's a player that come through Chelsea's academy from the age of 8 years old. He was with the club 10 years. Unfortunately, through injury, didn't quite get a pro contract. And so he played for me in Merstham. He was an important part of the Merstham team that got promoted. He was a significant part of the Merstham team that became very well established in the Isthmian Premier Division and winning 2 Surrey Senior Cups. But also Tom is very highly regarded, and he was highly regarded at Stamford Bridge, so much so he was offered a full-time role on the coaching staff within the academy, and so his football over the last couple of years has had to take a back seat. But thankfully, in conversations with Tom, he's now in a position to pick up his football career. So he's coming back with us, and I'm absolutely delighted to welcome not only such a quality player, but an outstanding person into the Kingstonian squad.
You mentioned he works for Chelsea. You obviously, it's no secret you're a big Chelsea fan. So a little quiz for you. Do you know who the last Chelsea employee to play for Kingstonian was?
I would guess it was Tom Bird.
Oh, you know what? I hadn't even thought about Tom Bird. You've completely mugged me off.
Well, if you're going to ask the questions, you've got to know the answers, Jay.
The answer I had was Danny Buckle.
Don't know that name.
Oh, well, there you go. This went down well, didn't it? I might get this bit out.
Sorry, I can't help you with that. But, there were two great incentives to signing Tom Howard. The first incentive is he's a student of the game and he knows me very well, so he'll fit into the style of play. The second way is hopefully I can persuade him to give me some Chelsea tracksuits.
Great.
So both ways, he'll be a good addition.
Let's move on to the signings we do have today. You spent a lot of the summer telling us that you wanted to sign a number 9, someone to bang in the goals. So why don't you introduce to us a familiar face who's our first signing that we're talking to tonight?
Yeah. It's something that we've had to keep very quiet. I'm going to be really clear with this and say that this is a player that I've wanted for a long time. It's a player that when supporters were saying to me, we need a centre forward, this was the one that I wanted. And some people are worth waiting for. And this guy will definitely be worth waiting for. Because when you sign this player, he comes with the guarantee of a minimum of 25 goals. So I'm delighted to welcome back to Kingstonian, Elliot Buchanan.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Elliot, welcome back to K's.
Thank you very much. Glad to be back. I think we've got some unfinished business from the last time I left. So happy to be on board and can't wait to get going.
Your season, obviously, that only finished about 3 or 4 days ago in the Conference South semis, and you scored what was a late equaliser there.
Yes, yeah.
To me, that sounds like you were trying to put off joining Hayden as long as possible, so you got to play more football.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Some people might look at that and go, he's playing in the Conference South playoff semis on the Saturday and then coming down a level to K's. What was it that made you want to come back?
So I'll start off by saying, obviously, my time at Dorking was amazing there. We can't speak highly enough of Mark White, manager there. He made everything so easy for me over there and the boys and that as well. But in terms of where he's trying to take the club, he obviously made another signing of a striker, and he just couldn't guarantee me the sort of playing time that he honestly he felt that I needed, and obviously I know that I needed as well. Because of my age, I'm the type of player that does need to have regular game time to keep that sharpness and fitness. And he opted for a younger option, which I totally understand. And I'm glad that he was honest with me about it. And I probably could have stayed if I wanted to, because he's just that type of guy. But Hayden gave me a buzz and proposed this opportunity to come over, and I thought it was a great opportunity for me to come back and try and finish where we left off, and try and get us promoted. Looking forward to the project that he's got going. Obviously, I've seen some of the signings that he's made, and it's looking exciting. It's looking good.
How do you, looking back, how do you reflect on your first spell at K's? It's peaks and troughs might be a fair way to describe that season.
Yeah. I mean, it was a definite roller coaster. I mean, it was difficult because we were, I mean, at one stage we were second in the league, I think. We were doing really well. Things seemed to be going well. But I think within a week, we lost 5 loanee players, and they were pretty much all starters as well. And I think that was the start of the decline. And it definitely didn't help. And I don't think we quite was able to sort of replace those players. And it was just the start of a bit of a slippery slope, I think, with the club. It just seemed like things weren't quite in a good place on and off the field. I mean, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but yeah, it didn't quite feel like how it should be when you're trying to push for what the club was trying to get to, or where the club was trying to get to. And yeah, I made a decision to leave. And obviously, if things in a perfect world, I would have stayed and tried to get us into a position where we wanted to be, but it just wasn't to be. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad I come back. I mean, it seems like the club's in a better position now. And yeah, hoping to take us where we've been trying to get to for a little while now.
It seemed, I guess one of the things about that season is having both you and Louis there, it felt like you both wanted to be the kind of main man up front. Are you looking forward to being the out-and-out number 9 and not having to share that with someone?
Yeah, I mean, I know Louis quite well, and I didn't really... I mean, me and Lou got on really well. I mean, I speak to him like outside of football and that, but sometimes having 2 main men up top like that, it doesn't work. I mean, I'm not going to... I mean, we still scored goals, but I mean, in terms of myself being an out-and-out number 9 and being sort of, quoting, the main man up top, I look forward to it and embrace it. I mean, I've had it at a couple of clubs that I've been at previously where I've been the main man up top in certain formations, and I thrive with it. I mean, one of my Golden Boot awards that I won, it was me playing as a single man up top, or as a 3 up top, and me being the man in the middle. So I'm very familiar with that position. So yeah, definitely sort of looking forward to it, and I think that's where I can thrive. And I mean, I know I can score goals, and yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
Great. I mean, and apart from, I guess it's probably just Tolfs left from that K squad when you were here before. Are there other players in the team this season who you've played with before?
I think so, yes. I think, is Sean still there? I'm not sure if he's the Sean Cole House.
I'm not sure he is, no.
Okay. I mean, I'm not sure. It's probably just Tolfs then. I think it is only Tolfs that's going to still be there then. So, yeah, a bit of a change round. But, I mean, it's not sort of unheard of for teams to reshuffle when clubs are in a certain state. And, obviously, Hayden's got a great sort of pedigree at this level. And I mean, it speaks for itself that how you ended the season last season, that he's done a great job in sort of recruiting players, and yeah, it seems like he's got a strong squad, and hopefully I can add some great value to that and give you guys what you were missing last season, which was a lot of goals. So yeah,
great. We'll keep you around while we bring in our second new signing. Hayden, why don't you introduce us to someone I imagine Elliot's pretty familiar with?
Yeah, it's another player that we had to wait for. It's a player that was very high on the wanted list, and a player that is coming in to do something very specific. One of the areas that we needed to balance the squad with was in the left-hand side. And I wanted Kingstonian to evolve and develop. And to evolve and develop, you sometimes have to come up with a new strategy, a new idea. So, for example, everybody knows Kingstonian play very well in a 4-2-3-1. And make no bones about it, there will be teams, and we at times suffered from teams playing in a very, very deep block to counteract that system. So here's a player that will be able to help the team in adapting to various systems, whether that's as a forward-thinking modern-day left-back, whether that's as an out-and-out left winger, or even whether that is a wing-back. So when you sign players, you have to sign players for a specific reason, and you have to give the players a specific idea of why you want them. Here's someone that is going to be very, very important to this club this season. So I'd like to welcome our second signing from Dorking Wanderers, Tom Richards.
Tom, welcome to Case.
Hi, hello. You're up.
Again, you were. I think it was a double sub where you and Elliot came on together on Saturday. Is that right?
Yeah, we actually came on together. Arguably turned the game around. You know, we were 2-0 down. It wasn't looking very good. And yeah, we came on at the same time. Both done well. Obviously, Elliot scored, and yeah, unfortunate to lose at the end.
Again, I guess I'll ask a similar question then. After a game like that, why K's for next season?
So it's very, very similar to what Elliot said. Mark White, again, I can't talk highly of him. Dorking manager, he sort of just gave me a call and was like, the amount of players we've got in my position at the club at the moment at Dorking. He said if I was to stay, it would be a very similar situation to this season where I was in and out of the team, not starting every game, not getting the minutes I wanted. And Hayden can offer me that. So as well as that, the project he's got in line, you know, in terms of trying to get promoted is a really exciting one. So,
I guess unlike Elliot, some of our fans might not be familiar with you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the kind of player you are, what you like to do on the pitch, where you end up, and a bit of where you've been career-wise as well. What's brought you to this point?
Well, like Hayden said, I play on the left side. With Dorking the last years, they play 3-5-2 there, so I've been a left wing back. But all my career, I've been left back or left midfield. So I started with my career at Fulham, had a scholarship there where I was a left mid, left back. Actually signed a 2-year pro there as a left back. Played for the reserves for 2 years. But again, it was just almost different every week. Left back, left mid, wherever I was needed. Left Fulham after my 2-year pro at 20 years old. Had a year at Aldershot in the conference. Didn't turn out as I wanted it to. Left there in the season. Since then, I was at Leatherhead for a year. That's where Mark White saw me playing against Dorking. Then, yeah, I've been at Dorking the last up to now, so yeah.
Great. And tell us a little bit about, you played with Elliot for, I guess Elliot was there about 18 months. What link-up can we expect between the two of you?
Well, me being a wide player and him a striker, obviously, hopefully I'll give him plenty of assists. I think I gave him a few at Dorking. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, I like to get the ball in the box really, and as well as staying while getting them in the box, I also like to have a bit of link up with strikers. So hopefully you'll see a lot of that coming into next season.
Elliot, you've played with him. What else can you tell us about Tom?
Yeah, Tom, he's a really hard-working left-sided player. I mean, he gets up and down the wing. As you said, he plays either left midfield or left back or even left wing back. So yeah, he brings loads of energy and he likes to sort of get up and down and try and get balls in the box and obviously link up where he can. So I think it would be really, really well fitted for the side that Hayden's got prepared. And yeah, hopefully we can sort of get some good link-up play and, yeah, score a lot of goals.
Hayden, you talked about the left side being really important. One of our, it felt to me anyway, standout players last season was Fabio. How do you see Fabio and Tom working together and complementing each other?
I think they will complement each other naturally. Fabio is a lad that if you throw a challenge at him, he'll always attack the challenge. But some players will become a little nervous about it. Fabio will embrace the challenge. So if you look at Fabio and my relationship with Fabio in our last two clubs, Fabio was a number 8 of amazing potential. Wanted to collect the ball from in deep areas and run the game. We had a different idea for Fabio. We turned him into a number 10. And Fabio scored regularly 20 goals a season. I think 3 years on the trot, he scored 20 goals a season as a 10 for me. And come to Kingstonian as a 10. If you remember, he started the season as a number 10. But we sort of stumbled across him moving to left back. Ben Harrison was injured, if you recall. We knew Fabio would be able to play in the left back area. He had done it as a young player, but also he fulfills my idea at left back because he's excellent with the ball. He has a very good relationship with the ball. He's happy to step into areas higher up the field and, again, can offer great delivery and great service to the front players. Do I see Tom competing with Fabio? No, I don't. I'll be honest. What I see is a great relationship there. I see a relationship whether Fabio is behind Tom. I see a relationship whether Fabio plays as a left-sided midfield player. I see Fabio can also play as a number 10. As I said earlier, the signing of Tom allows us to be much more flexible. We wasn't last season. You had Fabio, you had Dan Hector. They were the only 2 players that were naturally left-footed in the squad. So that does handcuff you a little bit. The introduction of Tom allows us to be a little bit more creative tactically. And when teams want to set up against us and stifle us, we have a different idea, both before the game and in the game, that we can tactically change that. But equally, I think the Achilles heel for Kingstonian last season was the lack of goals. I think that in open play, Kingstonian were the best team, and it's not the first time that I've said it. And it was almost a standing joke that we would absolutely murder teams and we would draw 1-1. But I see the players that we brought into the football club and I see goals. And, I spoke very highly of Cadell, of Corey, of Jake, who's very dangerous from set pieces. I see Elliot comes with the guarantee of goals. And I see Tom coming with very important goals. And important goals where I think that we have a player that can score between 10 and 15 goals from the left-hand side. So we've tried to add goals to the team. And so it's not only the assists that Tom will bring and the likes of Elliot and Eddie and Corey will benefit from. But I think the threat this season will come from everywhere, which is going to be very important when teams try to stop us.
Are you expecting them both to turn up to pre-season on Saturday, a week after their season's finished? Or maybe I should ask them. Tom, Elliot, are you expecting to turn up to pre-season on Saturday, or are you getting some time off?
No, we've already had a conversation with Hayden, and he's been very sort of understanding with our situation at Dorking, and he's given us just a little bit of time off because we've already been training for, I think, 3-4 weeks. So we've already got a level of fitness now. So he's given us till, I think we're going to be back training with this squad on the 11th, which is a Tuesday. So I think we miss, I think it's a week, maybe just over a week of the start. But then we'll be back in because, I mean, with the lockdown and all, he's been very understanding to give us just a little bit of time to spend with our family, getting away even just for a little weekend before pre-season starts. So yeah, that's our situation.
And I think that's important. I think that physically and emotionally, it's important that the players have a little bit of a time out. You know, I've in my career have been through various playoff scenarios, and it's not only physically that you have to prepare. Emotionally, it's draining. And these guys had an amazing season with Dorking. They then come back in extreme circumstances to prepare for the playoffs. And then you have the excitement and the adrenaline of the emotion of beating Bath, and the excitement and the adrenaline and the disappointment of losing in cruel circumstances to Weymouth. And to ask the guys to almost say, forget that and you're a Kingstonian player, see you Saturday, I think is too much. So the best way for these guys to prepare for the season is now to take some time out, reflect on outstanding careers and another outstanding campaign with Dorking, and to come in very focused that they're coming here to take us to a new level. And my message to the Kingstonian fans is a really clear one. When you speak to players, everybody will say they want to win the league. When you bring the likes of Elliot Buchanan and Tom Richards to the table, they don't want to win the league. They've won the league. They are champions of the Isthmian League. So we are bringing people in, not of potential, we're bringing people in of proven quality who have won this division. So now we have to prepare them properly. Lads coming into pre-season Saturday are at a completely different stage physically to what these guys are. So the first week will be the physical testing of the players. So there's no problem. It makes absolute sense to me that we see the players on the 11th and they have time to reflect on just how well they've done and looking forward to going one step further with Kingstonian.
Tom, apart from Elliot, is there anyone else in the K squad that you've played with before?
No, so there isn't actually. Obviously, there was Reece Hall, but obviously he's left, as you said at the beginning of the interview. And the same with Sean Clash. Actually, I played with him at Leatherhead for a year, but yeah, obviously he's not going to be returning. So yeah, just Elliot's going to be the only one I know.
And Elliot, a nice bit of symmetry that I think I spotted. From what I can remember, your first K's game was against Weymouth, and your last one was against Dorking, and you've just played in Dorking v Weymouth. How about that?
Some say it was probably meant to be then. So yeah, to be fair, I forgot about the first game being against Weymouth. It was a friendly, wasn't it? So
swelteringly hot day, beautiful day.
Yeah, it was a very, very warm day. So it was meant to be.
Great. Well, cheers for that, fellas. Really excited to see Tom, you in the red and white hoops for the first time, and Elliot, you back in them. And we'll see you guys in pre-season.
Thank you very much. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Cheers, guys. Hayden, anything to say before we finish?
Yeah, I would just like to say for Sean, because Sean's been mentioned a couple of times, and I don't want people to think it's strange that we haven't mentioned to Sean. So Sean looks unlikely that he will be with us. It's nothing to do with footballing reasons. It's a reason away from anything that I can control. But he was fantastic last season. Sean was a big player in the squad. He was excellent on the right-hand side. I enjoyed a good relationship with him, and he was a real professional throughout. So if we don't see Sean again, we certainly wish him and his family the very best wishes and our thanks for being an excellent player with Kingstonian last year.
Yeah, I can only echo that. I mean, that goal at Bishop Stortford, I think, is one of the best I've seen at Case. The control for that looping ball over, just to put that in, it was, a great player for Case for 18 months. Great. Thanks, Hayden. Thanks, lads. We will see you in pre-season.
Thanks very much. Cheers.